Oh là là, c'est magnifique. Ah, mais ça va jusque là.
Today on Artifactually Speaking, we dig a bit deeper, beneath the old Babylonian house in Square 5 and into a building about 1,500 years older. We join Professor Adelheid Otto from Ludwig Maximilian University in Munich as she continues her tour of the large Area 5 at Ur, near the southern portion of the city wall. She's talking to our cuneiform specialist, Professor Dominique Charpin of Collège de France, and I'm the one doing the filming.
The red walls are the Ur-3 walls immediately beneath Isin-Larsa's house. And so this was the second question of this season. What kind of building is it? Is it a private house, a normal house? Is it an official building? What was it used for? And is there any level between the Isin-Larsa period when it was built? Because we assume that it was built in the middle of the 19th century, only the house. And so if the Ur-3 house was left at 2000 BC, there must be a hiatus in occupation of 150 years. Mm-hmm. And this proved to be the case indeed. And as you see here, where our shadows are, this is the mud brick wall of the Ur-3 level. And the baked bricks of the old Babylonian period are exactly on top of this Ur-3 wall.
Much of the Ur-3 building extends south of the house of Sin-Nada and Utuptum. Their nearest neighbors were several meters away, much different from the closely packed houses we find in Area AH. Because we're near the southern edge of the mound, we get heavier runoff washing from the higher northern side. So this means that the farther south we go, the more of the later period architecture we lose to erosion, making that neighboring house that we're finding very hard to reconstruct. But it also means that we have more exposure of the lower architecture, and in this case, it's the large Ur-3 building that also ran beneath Sin-Nada's house. The Ur-3 building was made of unbaked bricks, and we're having some difficulty in finding all of the walls, but we have a pretty good idea overall. The main problem is that it's a very large building, and we don't have time to uncover it all this season.
So these are several rooms, and we wanted to see how large the building is, because this courtyard, this messy area, belongs to this large Ur-3 building. And it had walls on 3 sides, but we wanted a wall of the 4th side, and we wanted to figure out what this building is. The Ur-3 here, going down and until where the people are sitting. One very large room or even a courtyard. And on this floor of this room or courtyard was the bowl with the tablets and also 2 ceilings.
A few days before this tour was filmed, we found a bowl in the Ur-3 building. The bowl had broken edges, but it still contained 9 cuneiform tablets. These were made of unbaked clay. Most tablets were not fired in antiquity. And since there was also dirt that had filled the bowl over the years that it had been buried, they were going to be difficult to remove intact. So, we took the entire bowl, complete with its tablets and the soil fill, and we brought it all into the dig house. Here, Professor Charpin examines it just as it came in. Inside that ball of dirt are some really amazing things. It'll take a long time for the soil to completely dry, thus allowing Dominique to carefully separate the surrounding soil from the somewhat denser tablets. Then, he'll have to meticulously remove dirt particles from the fragile signs impressed into the clay and begin the process of copying the signs and translating them so we can finally find out what they say.
And now we just found this last tablet. But we are always in search for the outer wall of the room, in fact. We didn't look for tablets. I am desperately looking for the outer wall of the building, because it has no outer wall.
Another clay tablet was just coming to light as we filmed the tour. I find it to be one of the most interesting that we've found at Ur, certainly this season, and I was lucky to be filming at the time. Here we see Professor Charpin uncovering the edges of the tablet. It's larger than the other tablets, and it's got still harder soil that's sitting on top of it. The edges can help us define the extents, and then we can remove the material from above, knowing now where to stop, as we can see the line. Even here, we can tell that this is not an ordinary tablet. There are straight lines incised in it, and it looks to be a drawing of some sort rather than solely text. Now, Professor Otto carefully breaks away the soil from above. The tablet is somewhat denser, and so if you can get close enough to the surface of it, the less consolidated soil above will break away cleanly from the surface of the tablet. And the soil from above still contains the mirror image of the drawing and writing, because it was impressed into those incisions. We'll watch these two work more closely for a while. I find the process of uncovering a sensitive artifact like this almost as intriguing as it is to actually do it yourself. And I'm glad I got this on film.
C'est tout un plan, hein? Oh là là.
But it's perfect.
Ouais, encore. Ouais, voilà, ça vient magnifiquement.
Das ist schön hart gebrannt.
Ja, ja. Sonst, es wäre...
As it turns out, what we've found is a plan of a building with annotations in cuneiform script written along the outlines that tell us something about walls, the lengths, the number of bricks, etc.
Here, so you may have the two external walls, and here it's thinner. Here also. Here I don't know. It has to be clean, but I prefer to. But what is interesting is you have the writing here in this direction, but here in this direction. Right. So apparently here something like that also. So they followed the order in the different rooms, which is already known. I remember a city plan in Mari, but this is smaller. It's a building, so we have to see. I wonder what here is written, but I prefer to wait before cleaning completely. But it's a very beautiful piece.
It's amazing,
yeah. And it was a good chance that we just arrived at the moment of the discovery.
And interestingly, the nearby bowl full of tablets is related. Here's the bowl after the tablets have dried and been cleaned, then put back in the bowl for their hero shot. Dominique has spent some time copying and studying them, but it will still be a while before we can have a complete translation. Nevertheless, we do know a lot about them already. The information on the tablets has to do with building and builders, such as how many bricks are needed to build a wall of a certain size, how many builders are needed to place them, etc. So we think that the Ur III building in which these tablets were found is not really a residence, but rather something like an office of a building firm or an architect. And the plan map is another part of the builder's documentation.
And maybe it is a plan map of this building, if we're lucky.
With the numbers, we certainly will be able to say if or not, whether it is or not.
So does it give measurements, or is it just saying what's inside the room, or you're not sure?
No, here you have the measurement. You have 7 couche 3, so it's a number of coudées. So it's 3, something like between 3 and 4 meters here.
Okay.
So we will be able to make a theoretical plan of the building.
We're still studying it and its images and its text, and it's not a typical cuneiform tablet. Somewhat similar maps are known, but not many, and it's a very interesting find. I hope you enjoyed seeing this excavation and that you're just as fascinated by it as I am. I'm Brad Hafford. Join me again next time on Artifactually Speaking.
Is this